Welcome to the Rockaway Creates Connection podcast.
Are you ready to embark on a journey that celebrates the power of creativity, community, and transformation? We are thrilled to introduce you to the heart and soul of Rockaway Beach through our community stories. Brought to you by Rockaway Creates, a nonprofit dedicated to the peninsula and its people.
Nestled on the shores of the Atlantic, we are New Yorkers coming to you from Rockaway Beach, Queens. Each episode will take you on an exploration of its remarkable community, delving into the lives and stories of local artists, entrepreneurs, activists, and visionaries who breathe life into our beloved neighborhood. Whether you're a longtime local or just down for the day, this podcast promises to be a source of insight, secrets, and connection.
So get ready to be inspired, and you can go to rockawaycreates.org to learn more about us and how you can get involved. And if you like this podcast, please like it, binge it, and share it with your friends.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to our podcast episode, Rockaway Creates Passion, for the month of February. We have an awesome guest here. Her name is Jodi Heywood. She's a fitness and wellness coach and a meditation guide. She works with individuals, groups, companies, and facilities to provide coaching and workshops with an approach to holistic wellness. Jodi's experience overcoming and thriving through several life challenges, including a potentially life-altering surgery, with a positive outlook and mindfulness tools, gives her the ability to understand the difficulties of facing change and fear. She knows firsthand how mindset can impact outcome. She has a 30-year career in the health and wellness field, developing, implementing, and administering programs and services, and has been instrumental with her ability to approach life with optimism, clarity, and a solution-oriented mindset. Thank you so much, Jodi, for coming here.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Yes.
Really happy to
Welcome
be here.
to your membership. We're so excited. You're a new-ish member.
Yes.
And, it's really nice that we keep growing and with people who are so aligned like yourself. So
Thank you.
Welcome. Yeah.
Yeah. Excited.
Yeah. So I'd love to talk a little bit about why you decided to join Rockaway Creates and how did you get to the Rockaways?
Well, I'll start with how I got to the Rockaways first. My husband and I moved here with our oldest about 14 years ago. We were living in Brooklyn and we're looking to expand our family and create some more space for ourselves. And a friend of mine, I was actually at a friend's son's communion and we sat with her and she told us about this neighborhood she lived in. It was just beautiful and we should come see it. We should check it out. So my husband and I and my oldest took a drive out here and it was like, we drove down Beach Channel and that was it. I'm like, we're living here. So that was a bunch of years ago. We moved here 14 years ago and have been grateful for it ever since. And I've lived in the community. I do work in the community. I do some work in Brooklyn as well. And I'm joined Rockaway Creates because I really wanted to become more connected to the community. And I've been sort of watching what you guys have been doing and the sort of events that you have and the sort of people that are a part of your organization. And I'm like, that's somewhere I want to be. So I jumped in and, wanted to make some more connections and just be around, like you said, like-minded people who are aligned. So, yeah.
Amazing. So what kind of Galit listed what you do, but what do you do with let's say somebody's watching and they're like, I need some wellness or I really resonate with her. What would somebody call you for?
I teach classes. I teach a stretch and meditation class.
Oh.
I will do one-on-one coaching with people in terms of wellness. I've worked with people. I've done workshops and groups. I have a bunch of things coming up in the spring as well. On just sort of helping people find balance, find clarity. If they're looking to, decrease stress, look for other options in terms of what their life experience is, and they just need something, a little more holistic. I can work with people one-on-one again and introduce them to classes. I've been group fitness instructor for over 30 years. So certainly leading groups and classes is that's my superpower. And I love that.
Amazing. Okay, well, I'm going to bookmark that for future.
Great.
And do you do it all in person, virtual? Like where do you work out of?
All of the above. I work with some companies and universities that are online. So I will do workshops for the students. I'll do that online, but I also work for a gym in Brooklyn called Harbor Fitness, which I've been with for many, many, many years. I teach classes there. I have a class at the temple over here at Temple Bethel, where I work from there. We were doing an event at Rockaway Beach Dance Company in March. So I kind of, work in different places.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all awesome. And then when you do it, besides for doing it for the online universities, do you also do it for individuals online?
I can. Yeah, absolutely. I have. Yes. Online, not so much in person, but more online.
Okay.
Yeah, amazing. And I love that our community is really happy to show up. And so you've posted some things. And so we have this Rockaway Facebook group, and Thursday's our active day. And I love, like, when I saw you, I was like, oh, good. Someone new is doing all this stuff. And wellness is our jam. We love that. So yeah, please do post. And can people just show up, or they need to register, or what?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. For the class at the temple, just show up. It's $5. It's really, I just charge that so I can pay the rent. I have a small rent I pay. I really just do it because this is my passion. This is my love, is sharing mindfulness, meditation, taking care of yourself, finding compassion, love for yourself. Like, those sorts of things are really important to me. So this class is just my way of sort of helping people, experience that.
Sweet.
Yeah. I want to talk a little bit more about the passion and why you decided to get into this sort of work, and what keeps you going. Sure.
Well, I've been as my bio outlined, I've been in the health care field for a long time. And I have a master's in public administration and public health. So I've worked in women's health centers, hospitals, nonprofits, doing marketing, management, community education, putting programs together. And then in the fitness field, I also managed fitness programs for many years as well, also as an instructor. And focusing on the physical part of wellness was my thing for such a long time. And that was really, a lot of what we knew was just our physical wellness. It's sort of a newer thing. And then a bunch of years ago, I had to have, as I mentioned in my bio, a major surgery. And the surgery was, it was tentative. It was a tough surgery. And the outcome was potentially not so great, but I was physically ready for it. I was working out, I was an instructor, I was ready for it, but I knew deep down there was more to it because I had children and there was all kinds of fear around it, that I needed to look another way as well. So I really just started diving into the field of positive psychology, meditation, mindfulness, read a bunch of books. And I just really shifted to my own inner approach, my inner wellness and my mindset, and that having that positive outlook, having this belief that everything was going to be okay, some spirituality mixed in there as well. Really, first of all, I came to the surgery with flying colors. It was amazing. But also it opened this door for me where I was really seeing that, oh, wow, there's so much more to our wellness and to feeling good and having an amazing life experience than just, working out and getting enough sleep and all of that, which is important. But that really opened my eyes. And so then I just started slowly moving more into this field and started teaching meditation, which for someone who was a spin instructor for many years was like a big, stepping into oh my gosh, can I do this quiet kind of class? And it was natural. It just felt so natural for me. And then it grew into, the positive psychology and coaching and wellness. And that's sort of how I moved into it. And what keeps me going is just my belief. First of all, my need for it as well. When I teach it, I own it and I experience it. So I think the greatest way we learn is through teaching. And then also just my belief in how important it is and how much we live our lives so much on autopilot, and we just go through our days and we do what we need to do. But to pause and to really reflect on who we are, what we're looking for, where our mindset is around our life experience, and how that can just change everything. So it's just like my belief in the importance of it, and how I can impact other people to see that as well. Even just small little ways can make such a difference. So that's really what keeps me going. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that especially now when there's such a, emphasis on Western medicine and making sure that, like, if you need a surgery, you get the surgery, and if you need medication, you get the medication, and that we forget a lot of times that there's a huge mental component, because it has been clinically proven that if two people can go into the same surgery with the same risk factors, but one of them going in with a positive attitude and the other going in with a negative attitude, and they can have two very different outcomes as far as surgery is concerned and as far as recovery time is concerned, right? Like just being more positive and knowing and visualizing success can actually bring about, a restoration of your body. And so I think it's really important that you decided that this is the experience that you had, and then you decided to bring that experience to others.
Yeah. I remember my surgeon at the time, right after surgery was, of course I was post-surgery, I was in sort of a rough place physically. And he said to me, he goes, I think this is going to be a really good thing for you. Know, and he goes, this is going to change you. It's going to change your life. And he goes, because of who you are, you're going to make this a place for you to learn and grow from, and to become different. And I remember that because, coming from this surgeon at Sloan Kettering, who's like this top guy, and he's telling me this, I'm like, okay, I think you're right. And, he was right.
Amazing.
Yeah.
It reminds me of there's a documentary on Prime called Heal. I'm sure. Yeah. And it's like, it's just a good thing to remember. And that's why people like you exist. I think we all know, be positive, of course, but it's natural and normal to have fears, and you actually need tools to work with it. And so it's so great. We are so lucky in Rockaway to have access to so many gems of people who are like, let me be the in between you and your healing, because we can't do it alone. And if we have someone that loves us, they're also nervous and freaked out. So it's like we need someone who's a neutral, non-emotionally involved person to be like taking a stand for the healing. So I'm so glad to do that. It's amazing.
Thank you. Yeah. And it's when you have the fear, I mean, as you said, fear is natural and normal. And I was afraid going into the surgery. Don't get me wrong. I was realistic and I was afraid. But what you do with the fear is like how you let the fear. Do you let the fear drive you, or do you just say, okay, I see you, fear, I get it, but we're okay. Where am I going to grow from this? Where am I going to learn from it?
Amazing.
It's so crazy because I feel like this week, fear has been a recurring theme, because I also had my live stream on Monday, and I also talked about fear.
Oh, wow.
So it keeps coming up. And so it's very appropriate that you're here today to talk about like working through the mental component of the fear and focusing on complete and total wellness around it.
I love that.
Yeah.
So just to switch gears, you've been here for 14 years. Where do you like to go eat, or like, what's your Rockaway hangout?
Well, in the summer, it's the concessions. Love the beach, love the water. I love hanging out at Pico, 129 is great. There's so many good places to go now. Heading out to Adrian's is a great, I like to go there with friends for dinner. That's a lot of fun. And just being outside as much as possible when the weather permits, for sure.
Amazing. And what gets you through the winter?
I'm forever a student. So I do a lot of reading. I read a lot. I do workshops and certifications. In fact, I just signed up for, I'm doing something called the CAP program at the Flourishing Center. It's called the Certification in Applied Positive Psychology.
Ooh.
So I dive in a lot to these sorts of things to kind of just keep me, keep my mind going, keep me upbeat. And then just being with friends, making sure I have those times with my friends as well, and connecting with others. Because winter, it can be, a little tougher at times. But if I make sure I connect with others, I think that's important for everybody, really.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And what do you think Rockaway needs? We love asking this question.
Yeah.
Like, what would you like to see either more of, or just it could be a store or a service?
It could be a specific type of restaurant, and we've gotten like requests for different foods.
For sure. A really good Greek restaurant. Like my husband and I were just saying that the other day. A really good Greek restaurant. And like you said, there's so many different wellness practitioners or wellness leaders in the neighborhood. I would love to have a place for people to all come together, because there's so many different services and so many different people offering this type of work in their own way. So like maybe some sort of a symposium or a wellness center or something like that, I think would be wonderful.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love that. And it brings to mind some events that we've done in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe partnering with you and setting up another event, that could be really cool.
Mm-hmm.
We've had Eat, Play, Love.
Yeah.
A lot of other different like wellness events, and
mm-hmm.
I'd be really excited to see what we could come up with, because I do think that the beauty and the magic of Rockaway is getting people together.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's bringing people together. It is doing things together. It is working towards a common goal. And I really love that idea.
I think Rockaway does that very well. It does that very well. I've seen it at beach cleanups. I've seen it when we've done different food drives, clothing drives, to help different parts of the community. It's people just show up, which is amazing.
So well said.
Yeah.
Hey, and did you work with kids too? Did you say? Because you said
I do. Yeah. I go into schools. I've gone into the St. Francis and their CCD program to talk about mindfulness. Meditation it's different with children, but it's pretty amazing. I'm getting ready to do something at my son's school as well on mindfulness and just understanding our thoughts and how we get upset and how to kind of understand when it's happening and that what tools we can use to help understand that.
So that actually brings up something pretty cool, which I feel like everyone meditates in their own way,
mm-hmm.
right? There are so many different versions of meditation. So let's say you're working with someone or you're just giving out advice to people that are listening. How do they find what works for them?
It's really just trying different things, I think what you said is really important, is finding what works for you. Because, having been one who's now taught this for many years, I've heard, I can't meditate. I can't sit still. I can't close my eyes. I can't, deep breathing makes me anxious, but there's so many ways, mindfulness and meditation is really just that moment of being in the moment. It's that it could be in a flow moment, say when you're running and you're just in the moment, you're in the present moment. You're not thinking about what's coming later or what happened before. You're just in the moment. So moving can be meditation. Someone's, a great example is someone who knits, that can be mindful as well, because you're completely engrossed in what it is that you're doing. And your thoughts aren't going to other things that have happened. So I think just trying different things and seeing what works for you, and then starting small. You don't have to sit down, and chant for an hour for it to be effective. Start with some breath. Start with, a few minutes and start with 3 breaths, even just to see how it feels. And then try different things to find out what really resonates with you. Because if you don't like it, you're not going to do it. Although we do sometimes need to do things that we don't like, but really with this specifically, it has to really resonate with you.
Amazing.
Yeah. And how do you know So if you're doing things, most people think, okay, I'm meditating, I'm sitting with my eyes closed, this is meditation. If you're not doing those things, how do you know when you're meditating? Like, how do you know when you're in that flow state where you're just running and being or knitting and doing that thing? Like, does it still work if you don't know you're doing it also?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, even like, and I say this in my classes all the time. If you're in class and your mind starts to wander, good. Because what happens is you recognize that your mind is wandering, and it's that awareness, that recognition, and then coming back to, oh, there's Jodi's voice, or there's my breath. I'm going to come back to feeling the breath in my belly. And it's that awareness of learning the awareness of your thoughts and our minds and where they go is really what mindfulness is. It's not shutting it down. It's not, achieving some, long meditation. It's just creating that awareness for yourself. And then if you're running and you're, if you're feeling like you're in the flow, then you're in the flow. It's like all how you feel, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I really like that. And knowing that it's okay, because I definitely have struggled with this in the past of like, I have ADD, my mind wanders, and then like bringing it back and being upset at myself that I allowed myself to like wander off into another path. So I like that you said like understanding that you did that is part of the mindfulness.
It really is the mindfulness, because there's no judgment. There's no judgment on what happens, because it's your practice. Every individual has their own experience. My mind is wandering when I meditate. I mean, then I notice, oh, there I go again. I'm thinking about dinner or whatever it is, but I come back. So it's that not judging yourself for it happening, because that's the practice. That's the practice, is when you can see that your thoughts have gone somewhere else. That's the practice right there. You're aware of what your mind is doing, and that's really what it is.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Well, let's say, so we have a lot of people that aren't from Rockaway that watch this podcast. I think because they dream of summer and they're like, let me see what I can grasp onto before I get there. What would you tell anybody who is like, oh, I want to go to Rockaway in the summer? Like, what would you tell them to do?
Ride your bike. That's a great way to see Rockaway. That's one of my favorite things. I'm in flow when I'm riding my bike, for sure. That's definitely a great experience. Ride your bike, head down the boardwalk, visit some of the sites that you can see in nature, like going up to Fort Tilden and going into the woods behind it. I don't know exactly what it's called, but going out there and exploring some of the beautiful areas that you can hike and walk. I love going to the Jamaica Bay Wildlife Preserve with my son. That's an amazing, you feel like you're in another world. So those are the sorts of things I recommend.
Yeah, I'm so glad you asked, because there is a lot of eating and drinking and schmoozing and hanging out to do, but we do have some really deep parts of nature. I mean, the ocean is great, but it comes with people. But when you go into the places that you just shared, it literally, you're just like, I'm in another world.
Totally.
Like you said. Really beautiful. Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you. And is there anything that you want to get from, or that you want for, or you want to get from Rockaway Creates?
It's just, I think building community, getting people to, for me to experience what other people are doing in the neighborhood as well, and making that connection. And then just so people can get to know what I'm doing also, so that if there are people who are looking for some peace, they want to manage stress or whatever that may be, learn about meditation, that I can be there as a resource as well.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Wonderful. It sounds like you're open for collaborations and questions. Good.
Yeah. Who is the ideal person for us to introduce you to? Or if somebody out there is listening and they hear themselves described, who are you looking to speak to?
In terms of clients?
Yeah.
Or clients or anything. Just maybe, maybe it's even friends.
Yeah. Just somebody who is open and interested in learning about what this is all about, what mindfulness is. Somebody who's maybe looking to make a change for themselves, or they're facing something that they might be afraid of. I've been there, I've done it, and I have some tools to kind of work through that. So I love to help people. I love to share what I've learned, because I'm just one person and I know what I've learned and I know what I can share. So anyone who's open to that.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for joining us and for being a member. And we're looking forward to all the things and meeting in person.
Yes.
We have a clothing swap that's happening in March.
Oh, great.
And then we'll have more events, and we hope that you come to our monthly network and hangs.
Yes.
And anything else you want to share before we end?
Just if you want to find me, I have a website.
Oh yeah, please do share your links.
It's called joyfullivingcoach.com. And I put everything up on there. This connects to all my socials on there, upcoming events and that sort of thing. So if you want to find information, if you want to follow me, I'm Jodi Heywood Wellness, with HEYWOOD Wellness on Instagram and Facebook as well.
Okay, great. Yeah, we'll put up all your links. And is there anything coming up that you want to invite people to? I know you have the thing
Yes.
at the synagogue. Yeah, but if you just want to share a bunch of
Sure,
that.
yeah, it's Thursday mornings, 10 o'clock, Temple Bethel and 121st. Show up anytime, any Thursday. I am there. And then I'm collaborating with two of my dear friends on March 13th at the Rockaway Beach Dance Company. We're doing something called a Soul Circle. And these are two women that we're friends, but we consider ourselves like soul sisters, because we all are into this work, but we all have our different approaches to it. One of my friends is a nurse and a medium. My other friend is an intuitive life coach. So we all kind of bring different things to the table, but we're doing this soul circle where we come together and we do a little ceremony. We kind of uplift ourselves. We uplift the energy, create a high vibration, do some journaling, some meditation, some essential oils, and sort of just, create, again, community for each other. So that's on March 13th, but I'll have information on my website for that as well.
Okay, great. So that's the place to look.
Yes.
Amazing. Yes. And I'd love to bookmark a conversation.
Mhm.
Me and my partner, Jess, have Lighthouse, and we're
Yes.
finding a new space, and you're
Let's do that.
for it.
Excellent. Fantastic.
Yes. Anything else, Khalid? Or I feel so.
Yeah, I feel really good about this. And
great.
just feel free also, Jodi, to share stuff with us so that we can post on our social media about the events that are coming up.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, we'll do that. Yeah, we'll do that for Instagram.
Okay, fantastic. I appreciate that. Thank you. No, this is great. I'm so excited to meet you guys in person and to share a little. So
Great. And all new members are welcome. So if anybody you feel like you want to tell them about it,
I definitely will.
Yeah, we've been signing up some cool new members, starting with you. And so, we're constantly growing, and we'd love to know what everybody really wants. This is like a community nonprofit for a reason. We're not like, this is how it goes. We're so flexible and open and willing to do more. So
fantastic. That's
amazing. Great. All right. Well, it's a pleasure to meet you. And Khalid, it's always fun to do this.
Yeah. And if anyone is watching now, watching on the replay, has any questions, comments for Jodi, for us, please post them. And if you're on YouTube, subscribe, share, make sure that Jodi gets in front of the people that she's meant to be in front of.
Yes.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Cool. All right. Well,
bye, everyone.
All right. Thank you.